Hi there, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace, and I want to do a review today on a product you've seen on my channel years ago called the Can Can Concealment Hip Hugger. If you haven't seen my previous video, I'll link to that. It did have a coupon code back then, which is long since expired, but I want to keep it up there so that you can watch both and see the differences. I had the very first models when they first started the company. I loved them, but they've made a lot of huge improvements, which I want to highlight today. And the holster comes in black or a tan color. You can choose between a wide variety of stitching to contrast, or you can have just black on black or tan on tan. I have one that I'm wearing today, and I'm wearing my main piece plus 2 magazines plus my knife plus a secondary, all on the waist. And of course I'm using a flowy shirt so that it's not extremely obvious, but here's what we look like here. Okay, so I'm wearing the cream colored one or the tan one, and I have my main carry, which is my SIG P938 at the 5 o'clock, and then I have a Kel-Tec P32 as a backup appendix carry on my strong side. Here I have an extra mag for my 938, another extra mag for my 938, and I have nothing back here, but you could literally carry 2 appendix and 2 in the back if you wanted to. There's also, I'm going to show you this on my black one, there's also a pocket in the very back where you can put yet another magazine, or sometimes if I don't want to carry a purse that day, I'll stick my concealed carry license in there so that I don't have to have it in a pocket. So let's just start. This is where it would hook and eye closure at the front for me. So there's a place for an appendix carry, strong side, magazine and or knives. 2 knives will fit here. Sometimes I do that, 2 knives. I never carry magazines on my strong side, but some people do that. And then this would be the 5 o'clock position. And then in the middle of the spine would be an extra magazine. I don't put anything there except my concealed carry permit, because if I were to fall on my back, I don't want something hard and metal right in line with my spine. That's just my personal choice. And then now we're wrapped around to the left side of my body, so that would be yet another piece that could be carried if I wanted to draw left-handed, just in case something were to happen to my right. And then another magazine at the 9 o'clock, and then yet another appendix carry on my left side or my support side. So that's a total of 4 guns and possibly 1, 2, 3 magazines, okay? And or knives. 2 knives will fit in any magazine pocket. Generally, 2 regular size pocket knives. Some of the huge improvements that they made was a silicone strip at the top and the bottom all the way around, and what that does is it keeps it from wanting to ride up. For females, we're not straight. If you were straight, it would just stay, but if you're curvy, it wants to go to the path of least resistance, so it wants to go to the narrowest part of your body. And the old hip hugger, sometimes you had to readjust yourself. You had to pull it down a little bit. I don't find that I have to do that with this one. It's the same hook and eye that it used to have. It has 3 of them, kind of like a bra. I mean, it's basically like a bra. Another huge improvement is they've added pull tabs so that when you reholster, you could pull that tab with your support hand to open up the hole so that you could easily slip the gun down in. Those were not on the old model. And the only safe way to reholster on the old model was to literally take it off like you would a belly band, because there was no way to reholster without putting your support hand in the way of your muzzle. So that's a gigantic improvement. As far as aesthetics, it's the same basic style. It has the corset type detail at the back, which I think is really pretty. If you do non-contrasting stitching, of course that's not as visible. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I have on my cream colored one, I have non-contrasting stitching. So you have to look pretty hard to see that. I'm not even sure if you can see that. So it's nice to have 2 colors. These run $79.95, so 80 bucks a piece. And having 2 colors is nice because I generally tend to wear this with dark colored things, and I tend to wear the cream colored one if I'm wearing lighter colored things, like a pair of white shorts or a pair of pink shorts or something that might kind of show through. This shirt is, tiny bit of see-through, so it just kind of helps it to hide. So again, I don't typically carry a piece up here if I'm carrying one here. it just feels bulky to me. That's not the way I usually carry my backup. I would usually put it on an ankle or somewhere else. But I just wanted to do that today so you could see that it works. So piece here, magazine, magazine. So there you go. I think it's an awesome option for females. They also make something for males. It's called I think it's called the speed belt, but if I'm wrong, I'll link that down below for something that you can get for the guys. But this, the classic hip hugger, is definitely shaped for a female. If you look at this, you can tell that it kind of angles down in the front to help it make like a hip type shape. So it's definitely angled for a female shape. Even if you did non-contrasting stitching, this would not work for a male very well at all, okay? But excellent for a female. This is great for days when you're wearing clothing that doesn't have belt loops. So if you don't want to carry or wear a belt, this is a great option. It's great for if you were going to run, to wear like sport type shorts, or if you're wearing a skirt with an elastic waistband. Generally, this will work with almost any kind of clothing. You do have to allow for a little extra space in your waistband, so you have to either get something with a little stretch to it. You can tell it kind of stretches your pants just a tiny bit. Doesn't bother me as long as I'm wearing something that's long to cover it up, but that's the only way I would wear this. Anyway, you have to wear something long to cover that up. So it will kind of pull at your waistband a tiny bit because you've got 2 guns and 2 magazines inside your pants, but who cares? Great option. Can Can Concealment. I believe they're based out of Florida. Everything's made here in the USA. The quality of the stitching is excellent. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus up close. I am using my phone so I can upload straight from here. You may have noticed that I've disappeared from YouTube for a couple of weeks because we had a complete catastrophic failure of our computer, ordered a new one, and it doesn't work. So we had to send it back. So that's kind of the deal here. But hopefully with my phone you'll be able to see the quality of stitching is excellent. There's not a bunch of stuff hanging out. Sometimes if you see things that are stitched in China, it's just poor quality. Everything is done very nicely. It's just beautiful work. Their customer service is excellent. If you call, you will most likely talk to the owner. So support their business. Another thing I failed to mention is they've put in magnetic closure. So the holster wants to close on itself, or it wants to close on your gun. There's a magnet sewn in, and it wants to stick to your gun. So that gives you a tiny, tiny bit of added retention, which I think is a cool idea. You can kind of hear it snap into place, which is great. Now, drawing. Let's talk about drawing, because drawing is not as simple as it would be with a molded leather holster or a Kydex holster. You have to force your hand down in there a little bit because it's a compression holster. If you've ever worn any kind of compression holster, you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you're used to a belly band, you know that you have to drive your thumb down in between the gun and your body and the belly band to get a decent firing grip. So it's going to be the same type of thing. You have to drive your thumb down in there, and then you'll be able to do business. I'm not going to reholster because my pants are in the way. So even to get the pull tab, it's a little complicated with pants on. But great holster, great option. I find that I use it a whole lot, especially now that I have a baby. I don't like to wear a big rig on my waist because she's typically sitting on my waist a lot. So this is a soft option. When I only put this here really for the video. I typically only carry one here. So that gives a softer place for her to sit because she's generally here in my arms. So that keeps, everything's just softer. It's nicer, it feels more comfy for her. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and give their website a check out. I will put the link down below, cancanconcealment.com, and check out the Hip Hugger Classic. That's the one we're talking about today. There are other models that are available. They have corset holsters, they have thigh holsters, a couple of different things. They have a couple of different models of the Hip Hugger. There's the Classic and the Big Shebang, if you have a bigger gun to conceal. So if you're carrying a full-framed handgun or a heavy 1911 or something like that, the Big Shebang is the one that you want to look at. And again, for the guys, I'll put the sport belt link down there because I can't remember the exact name of it. So I hope you found the video helpful. Give their website a check out and tell them that Colleen from Keeping the Peace sent you. We'll see you later. Bye.